I didn't start dating until I was in my 30s, and you want to know if I have any first date tips, especially if you don't feel like you're a real great conversationalist. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name's Alora. I'm a 34-year-old late bloomer, literally. Until the age of 32, no one ever asked me out. I'd never been on a date. I never held so much as held someone's hand. With which I offer as credentials just to explain I understand how anxiety inducing a first date can be, regardless of how much experience you have. My parents were odd ducks, and when we were growing up, they actually had us take a course on how to make small talk. So even though I was a very quiet in my teens and 20s, literally one of my worst fears was running out of things to say. I knew the basics of small talks, and it boils down to a very small, simple rule to keep in the back of your, or the forefront of your mind. And it's that the key to small talk is just to get people talking about themselves. Now, the thing about being on a first date is you're trying to see if someone is matching your energy. You're not necessarily out the gate trying to assess if this person is going to be perfect in marriage for you. It's like you're trying to establish, is there a connection here worth pursuing? So, keeping the conversation at least centered on the other person, or not centered, directed at the other person, is a real easy way to like get those conversation juices flowing. But it's also to kind of, like when you ask a question, to also give some leading information so they have something to ask you in response. So if our first goal is to ask people questions about themselves, right? Get them talking about themselves. Our second goal is to avoid questions that can be just answered in yes or no. Here's an example. If I want to ask someone if they like to travel, I could be like, hey, what's a really cool trip that you've been on? What did you love about it? I went to Scotland for 2 weeks a couple years ago. It was one of the most magical experiences of my life. I did not ask them if they liked to travel in that question. I asked about a specific trip they had been on. Could they share? And I've also drizzled in a little bit of information about myself that they can also pick up on. And you might be saying, well, what if they don't pick up on it? Babe, this is the point of the first date. You're trying to see if they're going to match your energy. You're trying to see if they will put the effort into also knowing you. They are under your assessment as much as you are under theirs. Third thing that I think is really critical. I do consider myself a very strong conversationalist now. I feel like I can talk to anyone. Ironically, it is one of my all-time worst irrational fears that I will run out of something to say. So when I'm going on a first date, I have a list of questions I can ask them printed out in my purse. And I am not shy about saying, I'm nervous. Are you nervous? I have a list of questions here if we run out of things to say. I will be so blunt about this. One, because I think it's amazing to be your authentic self, but two, I think honesty is endearing, and you don't need to be like honestly super confident. You can just be honestly honest, right? Like revolutionary. And to this day, I have that list of questions in my purse in case I need them. And you can just Google like small talk questions, and keep them saved in your phone. I do have on my website, which is in the link in my bio, a list of questions that TikTok helped me come up with when I first started dating 2 years ago. But yeah, those are my three biggest tips. Get people talking about themselves, avoid questions that have yes, no answers, and come prepared even if you're scared. Ooh, that's a good line. I just thought of that now, because here's the thing, babe. We're all doing this scared, but if you can be a little bit prepared, it makes it a little bit easier to go through. Oh my God, I love that so much. I love this for both of us. And if you think I'm still not terrified when I go on a first date, you're wrong. I know I can talk to anyone and I'm still nervous. So just know everyone's nervous when we do this. I'm rooting for you. Good luck.